Hey everyone, here's another inside look at Introduction to Jazz Piano, a deep dive. Today we're going to explore guide tone voicings with doubled notes. These beautiful voicings are open and rich, yet they contain no tension notes. They offer some nice opportunities for inner movement. So let's go to the keyboard. Okay, here we are at the piano. Common guide tone voicings with doubled notes include play the root with the left hand, and I could play something like this: 3, 7, 3, or I could play root 7, 3, 7, or I could play root 3, 7, 3, or root 7, 3, 7, or root 3, 7, 3, 7, or root 7, 3, 7, 3. So there's a lot of different variations. The fact that these voicings contain fourth and fifth intervals while still not containing any tensions makes them transparent, open, mild, and incredibly useful for navigating through tunes with lots of bebop changes or comping on ballads. So if you simply change the 7s and the 3s to flat 3 and flat 7, or change the 7 to a 6, you can accommodate a lot of different qualities. So I could play C major 7, flat to 7, I could play C dominant 7, I could flat to 3, play C minor 7, I could make it a 6, so that would be C minor 6, okay? Major 3, so that would be C major 6. I could even do this. It's interesting, I have a major 7 but flat 3, so I can get quite a few qualities of chords. First thing you want to do is just start by beginning to play through figure 2 on page 57. That's simply an assortment of guide tone voicings with doubled notes that are taking you through 1, 6, 2, 5, or 3, 6, 2, 5 in the key of C. And then I would suggest going ahead and transposing to a couple different keys. Don't add any tensions or any fifths right now. Just guide tone voicings with doubled notes. You get the idea. Okay, so first thing I would do would be pick a real simple song, maybe a song with thirds in the melody, like Autumn Leaves. This type of voicing, this guide tone voicing with doubled notes, enables you to play nice full voicings and to play the melody to a lot of these simple songs. Now that's okay, it's a little bit clunky. It's better, let's try it again, and I'm just gonna hum the melody. Okay, now, I don't have to play a chord on every half note. This is the secret. Instead of playing C minor 7 to F7, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to move the B flat, the double B flat, down a half step to an A, and don't move any of the other notes. Okay, so I'm starting with C minor 7, and then I'm implying F7, but I have left all the notes where they are. So C minor 7, and then move the B flat to an A. This is F7. Guide tones are F7 guide tones. The only difference is I have C in the bass, so the 5 is in the bass. So I'm implying F7 without actually playing F7. So doing this gives me a very economical way to play 2-5. I can just move the 7 of the 2 minor chord down a half step to the 3 of the 5-7 chord. So if I do this 7 to 3 movement all the way through Autumn Leaves, I I know this is a half diminished chord right here. I'm not worrying about the flat 5 right now. I'm just playing 3s and 7s. So flat 3, flat 7. Move the 7 to the 3rd of the next chord, D7. And then G minor 7 to G minor 6. I like to do that for the last 2 measures hit there. So this is a very economical way of navigating through the changes of autumn leaves. What happened here is I've actually created an inner line, a guide tone line. So it's less, instead of playing chords on every half note, this is more playing a line, playing a counter line. What I would do now would be I would practice 2-5-1 using this economical move. So in other words, instead of going C minor 7, F7, E flat major 7, chord on every half note, I would simply play C minor 7, move the B flat down a half step to A, so to imply the F7, and then play B flat major 7. So 2-5-1 is like this. 2-5-1. And try that in a lot of different keys. 2-5-1. Right? And maybe 2-5-1. Okay? Now, this sort of brings up Barry Harris's famous warm-up exercise in which he plays a chord on every scale step of the major scale, and the chord is that he builds on every scale step is the following: 1-7 in the left hand, 3-7-3 in the right hand, and what he does is he moves the 7s to 6s, and that is the chord movement. And he does this chord movement on every scale step. So then he goes to C minor 7, 1-7-3-7-3. Moves the 7s to 6s, and he gets that. So now he has this, scale degree 1, C minor, scale degree 3 does the same thing. And then scale degree 4 does the same thing. 7 moves to 6, 7 moves to 6, 7 moves to 6, and if possible, use a separate finger for 7 and 6. All right, so the right hand, I'm playing 3 to 2, left hand, 1 to 2. If you have really small hands, feel free to let go of the pinky in the left hand. That's fine. And actually, in the book, I have a variation for smaller hands. In the book, I do it in C major. I write it out in C major. It's on page 60. I just have, instead of 3 notes in my right hand, I just have 2 notes. So 1-7-3-7. And I move the 7s to 6s. This is an easier way to do it. It's the same kind of thing. 7 to 6, 7 to 6, 7 to 6, 7 to 6, 7 to 6. And you get the idea. So you're always moving 7s to 6s. So I would try that both ways, if possible. 3 notes in the right hand, 2 notes in the left hand, and go through the scales, and then maybe try 2 notes with the right hand, 2 notes with the left hand, and go through. So I want you to take a look at the first 3 chords on the first 3 scale steps of the scale. C major to C major 6, D minor 7 to D minor 6, E minor 7 to E minor flat 6. Now what this is essentially, here's your 2-5-1. If I go backwards, 2-5-1. If I start on the 3rd scale step, I get 3-6. This is essentially E minor to A minor 7. It's just, I'm playing guide tones of A minor 7. The only difference is I'm playing the 5 as a bass note instead of the root. But I'm implying A minor 7. So E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7. So in other words, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So go ahead and try that walk down the 3-6-2-5 walk down in a lot of different keys. So that's in D major. That's an A flat major. And I think you get the idea. Maybe E major. Now if we go back to the book, this is a guide tone voicings with doubled notes, and I navigate through the chord changes of Sippin' at Bells, which is from the album Cool Struttin' by Sonny Clark. I wish I could play along with the album on this video, but I'm not allowed to do that right now. But you can do that at home. You could take these voicings in figure 3, turn on Cool Struttin', maybe slow it down if possible, if needed, and go ahead and play this with the rhythm section. Basically, Sonny Clark is playing these voicings with added rhythms, of course, and this is the way he's comping behind the melody. So let me just play the melody right now, and I'll play one chorus of just half notes and one chorus with some rhythm, and demonstrate comping to the melody of Sippin' at Bells. Here you go. Okay, so that gives you an idea. That gives you an idea of comping using this idea of guide tone voicings with doubled notes. If you notice what I was doing in there to sort of mimic Sonny Clark's style was, instead of playing 3-7-3 for the minor chord, sometimes he plays 3-7-11 if you can stretch that ninth. Right there in measure 5, he might walk down, he might move that 7 all the way down to the 5 in octaves. Okay, so what that does is that tells us that we're allowed to move that 7. That 7 is very movable. In fact, in figure 4, I have you practice moving the 7 from major 7 to flat 7 to 6 to flat 6 to 5. You might recognize this from certain right, something like this might be Red Garland playing It Never Entered My Mind. This happens a lot of times. It's called a line cliche. So when you have a long period of time with one major chord or one minor chord, you might hear the piano player play 5 and then short 5 to 6. Sounds a little bit like James Bond right there. But anyway, this is something that you can practice and you can incorporate in a lot of songs. Actually, on a minor 7 chord, you can start with the octave, change it to major 7, minor 7. That's a very famous line cliche that's found in a lot of Montunos. Right, you're just moving that 7 up and down to the octave, major 7, minor 7, 6. So the next thing to practice would be, again, go to the internet or go to your record collection and play along with Kenny Barron. He plays a very beautiful version of the standard For Heaven's Sake. And these style voicings work really well with that tune because the tune itself is centered around the third a lot. A lot of times the melody is the third of the chord. So I'm going to play the chords. Right, this is what I have written. Notice how he does for the 2 5s. He just moves the 7 of B flat minor 7 to the 3 of E flat 7. Moves the 7 of A minor 7 to the 3 of D7. I add the flat 5 to complete the half diminished chord. Again, I'm moving the 7 in this case just to the dominant 7. Diminished, right? That's just 3 and 6. Flat 3 and 6. Okay, then what I could do is I could add the melody in the top voice, and it's not too hard. Especially if I do this economical way of comping. Just where I move that single note under the melody. So right here, where the melody was a note different than the third or the 7, here's the 5. Underneath that 5, I'm simply playing guide tones, and underneath the guide tones, I play a root. So all that's happening here is a melody on top, guide tones in the middle of the piano, root on the bottom. Right? So if I play through the bridge, and I would for now, I'm not adding 5s or 9s, I'm just trying to play the guide tones. Just a little something here in measure 9 and measure 11 for that A flat 7. If you're playing the melody, it's technically A flat sus 7. So that means you suspend the 4 and then you can go to the 3. So because that fits the melody. So melody, which happens to be a tension, but we won't talk about that. Melody, guide tones under the melody, and root underneath the guide tones. Melody is actually the sus4, resolve it to the 3. Okay, and then here it goes. It goes that C7. Right here, measure 13 and 14, basically all F minor, but I'm adding that line cliche to add some nice inner movement. So I could just sing the melody. That might be a better idea. From the bridge, right? Okay, sorry, excuse my singing, sorry about that, my humming. It is also possible to add the melody on top. I might have to change right, I might have to do something like that. That's it. All right, so now if we go back to Barry Harris's exercise, let's play a little bit more with that 7-6 motion. All right, so instead of just going 7-6, I'm going to add a sharp 5. Okay, so I'm I'm going to approach the 6 with a sharp 5, a half step below. Wherever the 6 is, I just approach from a half step below. Half step below. And I can play the whole scale like this. Now this is slightly more advanced. So people in jazz piano workshop, this is not really required. This is a little extra credit, okay? What's required is just 7 to 6. But I did want to show you that extra movement. Okay, for the final concept here, it's really about movable 7s and movable 3rds. So you take the following guide tone voicings, you start with the following guide tone voicings with doubled notes, left hand root and 7, right hand 3 and 7. That's a voicing for C minor 7, okay? And the idea is whatever the doubled note is, in this case the 7, you're allowed to move that note chromatically any way you see fit. Okay? If you play the other voicing, which is root 3, 7, 3, now the 3s are doubled. So that's your movable voice. Within reason, right? You can experiment. Okay, so let's say I'm doing the song It Could Happen to You. So I might start with, okay, here's E flat major 7. Instead of starting with E flat major 7, I move the 7s down to 5s. So here I have this simple voicing, E flat, B flat, G, B flat. Something like that, or very Bill Evans, right? Start with a doubled sharp 11. Okay, something like that. So the idea is you play through a standard, and you can move the doubled 7 or the doubled 3rd. Now naturally if there's too much chromatic movement, it's going to get in the way of the melody. So if you're just starting out here, just start with simple movements like major 7 to major 6, or the 2-5 movement we've talked about, where you just move the 7 of the 2 chord to the 3 of the 5 chord. You could do it that way. So it's really, there's no rules here. It's really, you want to explore some of the chromatic possibilities. At this point, I'd like to play with the play-along that comes with the book. For the first chorus, I'll play guide tone voicings with doubled notes with 7 moving to 6. From time to time, I'll incorporate the melody from Autumn Leaves. For the second chorus, I'll play mostly half notes and experiment more with movable 7ths and 3rds. So it's important after doing this, make sure to take some time and play along with Miles Davis from Something Else. This sort of half-note counterline comping works well behind Miles. stay tuned for other YouTube videos highlighting other parts of Introduction to Jazz Piano Deep Dive. Feel free to subscribe below. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.